with you here on SportsCenter. We're following breaking news in the NFL today. The Vikings have fired GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah after 4 seasons. They just gave him an extension last offseason, but Minnesota finished 9-8. They missed the playoffs, and they fell short on the draft over the last 4 years and missed the mark at quarterback. And that is a big storyline, especially the quarterback that was a Viking a year ago is now with the Seahawks. After going 14-3 last season with Sam Darnold, they let him walk to play J.J. McCarthy. Minnesota fell from 6th in passing offense in 2024 to 29th this past season, one of 2 NFL teams to throw more picks than touchdowns, along with the Browns. Let's bring back our NFL brain trust, Mina Kimes and Ben Solak. Ben, how much did letting Sam Darnold go play a factor in Adofo-Mensah's firing?
It had to, right? And especially because of the timing of this. Adofo-Mensah gets let go while he's in Mobile at the Senior Bowl doing the general manager job. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold's preparing for that Super Bowl. It's got to be, too visceral to watch as ownership to see the guy who got away be so successful. Now, there's other body of work concerns. The Vikings have the 2nd lowest cap space in 2026, in large part because of big free agent deals that were signed and were largely unsuccessful. The draft and develop program obviously has not been great in Minnesota, starting with quarterback J.J. McCarthy. And so it's not all because of the Sam Darnold thing, but yeah, it's a little bit because of the Sam Darnold thing.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Ben, and I think the timing is evidence of this, right? Like, you're coming off of primetime game, Sam Darnold's best performance, arguably, of the season. It's impossible not to think that weighed into it. Now, I'm of the mind that should have weighed into it less than the performance of JJ and the drafts more generally. But let's be real here. If JJ McCarthy had been an average quarterback, I think Kwesi would still have his job because the defense remained as good. They were 3rd in DVOA. This was still a playoff caliber roster, but they didn't even get average level quarterback play out of their rookie, or now he's not a rookie anymore, a 2nd-year quarterback, and that's ultimately why they ended up in this situation. Yeah,
that quarterback room also had Daniel Jones, too, a year ago. So a lot of question marks here for the Vikings moving forward. Let's stay in the NFC. One big...
I think it's just been one of those things where it's a long season, and sometimes things show up, and I'll do whatever I can to feel 100%, and I'm sure I'll get if not there, as close as you can, 99, or do whatever I can to make sure I'm throwing, and like I said, do whatever I can to help the team win.
Did you throw today?
Did I throw today? Yeah, we went through normal practice, so did some reps and did some things where I'm looking forward to trying to get some more reps here and there and feel it out.
Now, May appeared again on the Patriots injury report on Friday, but this time it wasn't only because of his shoulder. Vrabel said his 2nd-year QB did not practice on Friday because of an illness. The coaches said several Patriots have actually been sick this past month. And with that, we're going to welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer John Breach, whose name never appears on the injury report. Always healthy, John. As we mentioned, Vrabel said that there is no reason of concern to him with his young quarterback appearing on the injury report this week. But talk to Patriots fans right now. What level of concern should they have about this, John?
Well, Coley, I think today, Friday, with 9 days to go before the Super Bowl, your concern is about a 4. I think you definitely should be a little concerned because one thing Mike Vrabel hasn't said, one thing Drake May hasn't said is that he is 100%. So we know for sure that shoulder is clearly bothering him, and that's not an injury you want your starting quarterback to be dealing with, is an injured shoulder. Now, of course, Drake May has a few days to heal, and if it's still bothering him this much or he's still limited in practice next Friday, then we have an issue. Then that concern level jumps up to 10. So it's a good thing that the Patriots have this week before the Super Bowl. Because remember, there was a time when there was no week in between the conference title games and the Super Bowl. You just went straight from the conference title games to the Super Bowl. If that was happening here, the Patriots would absolutely be in trouble. So it is a good thing that Drake May is going to have some time to heal because I'm pretty sure the Patriots don't want Josh Dobbs or Tommy DeVito out there as their starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. So yes, it's obviously a little bit concerning, but because Drake May is going to have some time for that shoulder to get better, you should exhale a little bit right now, Patriots fans.
A little woosah, a little breathing exercise for Patriots fans. I love it. May's presence certainly will be welcomed by the Patriots in that game. On the other sideline, the Seahawks are hoping that Sam Darnold revival, that it continues for one more game. But he's going up against a really good Patriots defense, a Pats D that's gotten way more aggressive with the blitz during the postseason. So, John, where's your confidence level in Darnold's ability to solve New England's scheme?
My confidence level is surprisingly high in Darnold right now, even though he is going up against Mike Vrabel, who is one of the best defensive coaches, one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. He can just draw up a game plan that can shut down an opposing offense. We saw him do it in the playoffs, the Patriots defense playing so well. But you look at what Sam Darnold has done. He has been getting confident and more confident every single week this season until he finally hit the peak of the mountain in the NFC title game when we saw him torch the Rams defense for over 300 yards. And that was really his best game of the season and arguably the best game of his career. And the reason I'm not as concerned about him facing Mike Vrabel is because of his offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, who will probably be leaving after the Super Bowl. He's done such a good job this season that he'll almost certainly end up with one of these two remaining head coaching spots with the Raiders or Cardinals. But what Clint Kubiak does for Sam Darnold, he knows all of Darnold's strengths. He knows all of his weaknesses. He knows Darnold's skill set better than anyone. Because remember, this is not their first season together. And so he knows what to do for Darnold to take advantage of opposing defenses. And I think that tandem has really been why this offense has been playing so well throughout the postseason, throughout the end of the regular season. And so I do have a lot of confidence in Sam Darnold playing well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know, I called this a Sam Darnold revival. It's been a real redemption season for him after his only other playoff appearance last year. Of course, it ended in a first-round exit while he was quarterbacking the Minnesota Vikings, John. Now, on Friday, speaking of quarterbacking, the guy quarterbacking the personnel decisions for Minnesota, he was sacked. The GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was let go just today. The Vikings announcing that. Here's what Adofo-Mensah actually said 2 weeks ago about how he reflected on the decision to let Sam Darnold hit free agency a year ago.
It's those nights that you wake up and stare at the ceiling and ask yourself, but I always go back to the process and what we thought at the time. You know, it's easier to kind of go and be revisionist and results-based, but going to really think through what we had at the time. I still understand why we did what we did. The results maybe didn't play out the way we did. We wanted them to, but you know, ultimately, I think that at the end of the day that we could have executed better in certain places. And I don't want to say it individually in terms of a particular player, but just executing better, knowing what the room was, play style wise, experience wise, and just kind of really put together a better combination of people, collective in that group.
Again, a rough year last year in the postseason for the Vikings. Sam Darnold leaving them and going on to the Super Bowl this year. And that right there sounds like a man who's haunted by the decision of letting Darnold walk away, John. What impact do you think that Darnold's success this year had on Minnesota's decision today to fire Adofo-Mensah?
This certainly feels like a situation where that was the straw that broke the camel's back, where you had some things developing. But for the Vikings to let Darnold walk away at the most important position in the game, a season after he led them to a 14-3 record, led them to the playoffs, and you're thinking, well, we have something better here in our back pocket, that being J.J. McCarthy. That gamble didn't work out. As a matter of fact, this is pushing all your chips in and losing them on your first hand of blackjack. You didn't even make it like 3 hours through the night where you can enjoy yourself. This was just a total backfire in the decision-making of the front office. And so I think that if you're Vikings ownership, it's easy to see why they're frustrated at what's happening. The fact that Sam Darnold is playing in the Super Bowl is just an absolute slap in the face. And then you kind of look at the track record over the years. The Vikings have one of the worst salary cap situations heading into the offseason, so it's not like they can go out and sign a huge free agent class. You look at his track record in the NFL draft. He got there in 2022, so he's been a part of 4 drafts. I don't think he's drafted a single Pro Bowler so far. And to be honest, I think his most successful pick in that 4-year tenure might actually be a kicker. Not that that's a bad thing, because their kicker is very good. He was an all-pro, but, you're not going to the Super Bowl when you have the best kicker in the NFL. That doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be the best team in the league. So there's a bunch of little strikes there, and the Darnold one felt like strike 3. All right, we've got to move on, and now it's time.
Yeah, you only get 3 strikes, even in football. That right there is CBS Sports NFL writer John Breach. John, thanks very much for the time. Now, Minnesota made the playoffs in 2 of the last 4 seasons under Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, but the Vikings failed to earn a win in those games. The Vikings decide on Friday now to move on from Adofo-Mensah just 7 months after he signed a multi-year contract extension.